fire. Over here, yet another one. This one has been engulfed in flames since we arrived in this neighborhood an hour ago. You can see the wind that is pushing that smoke. We've been talking about how much of a role the wind has been playing in driving this fire. And Henry's been talking about, and the fire PIO has been talking about how the wind is picking up. And then this, the Harborview Apartments. This is a complex that has been on fire as well. This is just one side of it. If we walk a little bit over to the right up the street, if Sam feels comfortable, we can show you another vantage point where you can see how this fire has reduced entire apartment complexes apparently to flaming rubble. One firefighter injured is the injuries that we've seen reported at this hour. There was one death reported in relation to this fire. It was an automobile accident. 500 firefighters involved in this firefight. Just where I am, we have crews from Fountain Valley, Fullerton, and Costa Mesa. Evacuations, 27,000. Megan mentioned them, including in this neighborhood. This is the area of Ventura north of Poli, between Poli and Ventura Avenue. That's one of the neighborhoods that has been evacuated. We have yet to run into any of the evacuees, but we have heard from some of the people that have been forced to get out in other neighborhoods, including in Santa Paula, where this fire started. It moved from Santa Paula to Ventura. We saw a number of flare-ups on the hillside as we drove from LA to Ventura on the 101. That Santa Paula homeowner that we spoke to earlier, he fears his home is lost. When he left, it was surrounded by flames, his avocado orchard. And here, a more densely populated neighborhood not far from the beach, not far from downtown, where 1, 2, 3 separate areas of properties are currently up in flames and smoke. This fire, 0% contained, the firefight going on all night long, and we've been told when morning comes, when the sun rises, they will be attacking this from the air as well. That's the very latest from here in Ventura. I'm Lauren Lister. I'll send it back to you.
Hello, Rick and Court and everyone. Certainly a very disturbing case, a very disturbing story. So many people out there are outraged. Now the community and police and organizations like the Humane Society are getting involved. It's the viral video that is triggering shock, outrage, and disgust among most viewers. It appears to show a teenage boy hurling a cat high into the air. A banner across the frame reads, "Bro, chill." We will not show how this ends with the cat flying through the air and landing hard on pavement in the middle of a street. You can then hear the animal meowing and screeching. Angry Twitter users sent the video to Fontana and Ontario police. We're told it also appeared on Snapchat. The Ontario Police Department says it is investigating this as a case of animal cruelty and looking for the individual in the video who apparently
at the corner of Keiko Canyon and East Trail.
Yeah, how are you doing? How are you holding up?
Oh, we're doing okay. We got the horses all ready to move them. So we're just right now, I think we're actually going to start walking them out. We're going to take them down to Ranger Park down by Foothill and I forget the name of the street, but we're going to get them down there where we should be relatively safe.
Sam, it's a little bit chaotic out here, but neighbors are helping neighbors. I'm seeing a lot of people that don't know each other, but loading those horses.
Oh yeah, we do that all the time. That's what happens here. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are, but when it comes time to move, everybody comes in. Everybody jumps in, so it's really cool.
Okay, and so you're heading out. You're going to go save your horses?
Yeah, we're going to go down. We all got them all haltered up already. All we have to do is walk them out. You know, so we're going to probably do that. We got about 20 horses here. We have to move.
Okay, stay safe. Thank you very much for talking to us this morning. Best of luck to you.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Will do. Yeah, we've had to move twice so far. And, you know, as before I let you go, you know, again, this area, I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, we're going to move right from where you are, not too far away to Gina. The drama of the horse that got trapped.
Wow.
What's happening here, Gina?
Well, they finally rescued him from that small crevice. He's being pulled out, as we reported earlier. It was given 4 tranquilizers, so that is why it's not reacting too much. Otherwise, it would be kicking. But at this point, they're going to bring in the trailer to put him in the trailer and take him to a hospital. This is a poor horse that got stuck in that crevice, and it was as it was running away from the fire, it panicked and it fell into that gap. It was there for hours, upside down, kicking and kicking the wall. It created a hole, and at that point, when we were reporting on that, some viewers came by, and eventually LA County Fire got a small crew here. They came by and they decided to tear down that wall, which is what they did, and they just now rescued the horse. You can see the horse here. It's not moving, and that's partially because of the four tranquilizers that it received. But this rescue happened on Cagle Canyon in Sylmar, the 12,000 block of Cagle Canyon. We're hoping that this horse will be okay. Of course, we'll let you know on his status later on. But they're going to bring a trailer here and take him away to the hospital.
One of the
Megan?
many stories that we're covering this morning, we have two fires, one historically large, the Thomas Fire in Ventura County. This one, the Creek Fire around the Sylmar area. Houses are burning. As a matter of fact, after this break, Gigi's at another house that just caught fire. We'll be right back.
Cherry Hill neighborhood, which is under a mandatory evacuation. There are mandatory evacuations in effect for your neighborhood right here. So why are you still here?
I just came back to grab a couple of things, but I'm on my way out right now.
He's the college professor at St. Thomas Aquinas College, near where the wind-fueled fire started around 6:30 tonight. He helped evacuate students before coming back home to get some valuables and see flames threatening his neighborhood.
It's been a lot going on. It's scary, but we have a lot of firefighters doing their job here, and I think they're going to protect our neighborhood very well. It's definitely heading towards Ventura fast, and so prayers for them.
Fire officials say East Ventura, north of Foothill, is being evacuated as the fire pushes towards the city of Ventura. More than 600 homes have also been evacuated in Santa Paula, where at least 2 structures have been destroyed by fire. Fire officials say they've brought in additional resources from neighboring areas, such as LA County, LA City, and Santa Barbara County. They also have 4 helicopters on hand to help with the fight, but haven't been able to use them because of the heavy wind gusts, which are between 50 and 70 miles per hour. And fire officials tell me that there is 1 fatality associated with this fire from a car accident. They were unable to give me any more details than that. Now, classes at St. Thomas Aquinas College, they have been canceled tomorrow. And at this point, there is 0% containment, and firefighters tell us that they are in a defensive mode at this time. For now, reporting here in Santa Paula, Mary Beth McDade, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Micah shared still a crime scene here at this Walmart in Temecula. Investigators have several witnesses to interview. They're also looking at surveillance video from the shopping center, and tonight not confirming many details. But the victim's parents are speaking out. They say his girlfriend witnessed the entire incident, and she told them that the killer recorded the stabbing.
He did things for other people, and he loved life.
Her son, 19-year-old Kevin Rodriguez, a victim of what appears to be road rage. He was stabbed to death in this Walmart parking lot in Temecula in front of his girlfriend of 3 years, who held him as he bled in her arms.
He really loved his girlfriend, and I'm really sorry for her to have to go through that and hold him the way she did. And I'm going to be
Well, we can tell you that Sky 5 was the first helicopter overhead this fire when it was in Santa Paula along.
something smoldering under that car. And firefighters are bringing a hose behind you. Photographer Tony Butita, you got hose lines coming down behind you with the fire department right now. They're going to try to put that out before the wind kicks that up. So all those classic cars, the Lamborghini, the vintage 1933, the Pantera, they're firefighters. Oh, now behind you, you've got something else burning. It's just everywhere because of this wind kicking things up. Firefighters putting that out with their bare feet, stamping on, I don't know what that is, some cardboard or something that they pulled out from one of the homes. Look at the wind. Whoa. Okay, that's what they don't want to see, that get close to those cars. All right, this is the latest from Island View and White Oak above Foothill here in the city of Ventura. Just a very tense situation as this wind continues to kick up the Thomas fire. We'll send it back to you.
And remember, this is one neighborhood. We'll continue our coverage of all these fires when we come back.
In action right here where we are.
Lauren, I also want to ask you, and if you've had the chance to talk to anybody today about resources, and if you said 500 plus firefighters are on this fire, then we have the Creek fire burning as well in the Sylmar area. Are resources stretched thin? Do they feel they have enough in order to handle today and the upcoming days as we have this fire weather for the next several days?
You know what, Jess, that is a great question. And I'm going to say at this point, I don't personally know here on the ground. All of the places that I've been on this fire this morning in Ventura, where it's really been raging in these hot spots and neighborhoods that we've been in, the firefighters are really busy with this firefight. I haven't been able to get a captain to go on camera with me. He's been working too hard. And the firefighters that I've spoken to have been nice enough to give me one moment to talk about
resources out here that go
far beyond the reach
for
of
them
Ventura
at that time,
and just how they're being deployed and how they're being stretched. I'm sure we will find out more about that. I know that they were planning to give an update on this fire this morning, an official one from the official spokespeople with Ventura County. But at last check, what I can tell you is what I'm seeing here on the ground.
And as we're speaking with you, Lauren, and watching a home burn on the left side of our screen, on the right side, we're looking at a scene from Santa Paula, another part of Ventura County. You can see some vegetation burning there and firefighters jumping on that as quickly as possible. But really the focus is going to be on these homes and the human beings that are affected for now. I just can't imagine if you're an evacuation center right now, you know your neighborhood, you know your street, and you know your home for sure. And folks are going to be looking at some of these pictures and realizing that is their home. I guess Elizabeth, I believe, is on the scene on our right. Elizabeth Espinoza.
Yes.
If you can hear us,
yes.
Elizabeth, tell us what we're seeing in your pictures.
Yeah, Frank, good morning. That's right. I've been Instagramming live here trying to share some pictures with you as well on social media. But take a look. You've got firefighters. These are firefighters from Camp Roberts Emergency Services. They're from the San Luis Obispo County, doing an excellent job. We just were trying to find some hot spots, and sure enough, we're just off of Foothill, off of Peck, which would be the cross street. And this is truly structure protection, how quickly this changes, right? We are on the air live, by the way, so if I could just ask you, firefighter, what is your name and you're from Camp Roberts?
Captain Byrne.
Captain Byrne. Captain, I mean, as we look at this, I mean, it was incredible. We had to move a few times. You saw us come in with a news van and we just kind of come back out.
Yes, correct. Wind-driven fires are you always have to be on top of your game and aware of your surroundings.
We got a lot of brush here. You say it's very thick.
Heavy fuels in this area. So, but we are blessed with 4 or 5 engines right here, so it looks very promising.
And this is structure protection because we're just across the street, right?
Correct. Very, very true.
What time did you guys get out here?
We left our base at 1 in the morning and got here this morning about 6.
Really have had no breaks. My gosh, you were in Northern California on those fires.
Correct. It's been a busy summer, but that's what we do. That's what we signed up for.
What is the game plan at this point? Obviously, you're driving around, you're having different units check out different hotspots?
Correct. We'll let this burn out, and when it's safe, then we can go to another location where we'll do the same.
I have to tell you, though, this is very courageous of you because it's like a wall of fire, and you don't have any air support here. It's too dangerous, I know, because of these Santa Ana winds, but this could switch quickly, and you've got the trucks here.
Very true, but we know our trigger points, and that's when we will pull if we have to.
Can I ask you what that would be in this scenario here, looking at these pictures?
This is a very safe situation here. We feel very comfortable here, so.
Okay. It is incredible, though, how you know by looking just looking at the elements and understanding the science behind when you said your trigger point. How would you define a trigger point?
There's so many variables: fuel, wind aided, topography, your structures around you.
Right.
Yeah, but we have a well-trained team, and the strike team we're with from San Luis Obispo County is phenomenal. So.
Captain, thank you so much. Please stay safe, and thank you again for all you do. The men and women out here in uniform are just incredible, and of course Ventura County Sheriff's Department, Frank and Jessica, doing an excellent job as well, trying to keep everyone safe and going around, making sure people know to stay, away. But look at this. This was up. It was a wall of fire, and I to be honest with you, thought, I don't know how safe it is to keep trucks here. We had to turn around, took our news van down the street. But as you heard the captain say, they understand these trigger points and are very strategic. In fact, this looks completely different from 4 minutes ago, but look into the distance. I know Tom can't hear me because it's so dark, but Tom, let's show them in the distance. This is a major thoroughfare, okay? This is shut down. This is Foothill. And this will take you pretty much into, the other parts of Ventura. And again, on the opposite side, it's clear because the wind is driving everything in this direction. We've seen, by the way, San Miguel Fire Department. We've also seen the Atascadero out here as well. And if we walk over here, I do want to show you just across the way. These are the homes we're talking about. There are a number of very large homes. Homes on the hillside earlier we showed you were also in a lot of harm's way, but thankfully that fire was taken out. But then you've got the embers, and it landed over here. And now it looks like they're calling for a, let's see here, what's going on? Look at this, it's so scientific. I mean, you've got to get those little hot spots, those embers, right? Are what can ignite a fire and you lose. All right, we'll keep you posted out here off of Foothill. I'm Elizabeth Espinosa, and there's a Atascadero fire. Okay, we'll keep you posted. In Santa Paula, talk to you in a little bit.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. We're now in the 8 o'clock hour of the KTLA 5 morning news. You're watching KTLA TV Los Angeles. We are covering two major fires burning in Southern California. In Ventura County, more than 31,000 acres have burned.
We have seen homes and apartment buildings go up in flames. 27,000 people evacuated. We've seen structures go up in flames live on our air. Unfortunately, we know last count 150 plus structures have been destroyed. Lauren Lister is covering the Thomas fire. She's in Ventura with more on what's happening there this morning. Lauren.
Good morning. So we want to bring you an update from this neighborhood where a very active firefight is going on in this morning. This is Skyline and Cliffside. It's just north of Foothill. North of Foothill, north of Poli is where we've been spending all of our time this morning from 4 a.m. on, where we have seen one structure after another on fire. Some of them entire apartment complexes. That was north of Poli, where we were earlier. Now that we have moved into this area, we have seen entire neighborhoods on fire like this. Here, I count one home on fire. Next door to it, you can't see it, it's very smoky. There's a home that's been completely destroyed. Further up the road, there are a few homes on fire, and that's not to mention the street just behind me with several homes ablaze. This is the Thomas fire at this hour. This started at 6:30 in the evening yesterday. It started north of Santa Paula. It spread by the fast-moving winds. Officials calling this a wind-driven fire. And you can see those gusts this morning. Look, you can see the destruction that it has wrought. Our photographer right now showing you the rubble of the house next door to a home that is on fire. Now, the home that is completely engulfed, we've been seeing them focus on trying to put that out or contain it in a way that it doesn't spread to the neighboring homes, because some of them are completely untouched at this point. Visibility is poor. This is very smoky this morning. 500 firefighters or more were likely to get an update. I understand there's a press conference at this hour at 8 a.m. planned. We will bring you the latest on how any of these numbers have changed, because as we've been telling you, 150 structures destroyed is the official count that we got overnight. However, we have seen a number of homes and apartments on fire, so we'll have to watch to see if that has changed. We have spoken to a few evacuees. There aren't many because this area is evacuated, so people that were told to get out by law enforcement, what we've seen is that they largely left. However, there were a few people that stuck behind, not advisable, but we spoke to two that stayed to protect their home, and they were armed with hoses, hosing it down, trying to keep it from going up in smoke. They were right next door to an apartment complex that was totally on fire. Other than that, out here in these neighborhoods, it is the fire crews, all hands on deck all night long from multiple cities and jurisdictions. Oh, wow. Here's another house totally on fire. They say in this neighborhood, the priority, according to a firefighter I just spoke to, is to figure out which homes are the most defensible, because the winds change so quickly that they want to make sure they're focusing their resources the best way that they can, given that factor. And you can see how violent these flames are. Take a look. This is another home on this street, north of Foothill in Ventura. This is not far from downtown. Suburban neighborhoods. In some cases, homes being leveled. Sam, let's swing around. Look just behind you. Here's another home. Burned essentially to the ground. You can count them by the chimneys. That's one way in some of these neighborhoods.
Well, the growth, it grew incrementally. Obviously, it started as a small fire in Santa Paula, and it's grown to 45,000 acres. It was just exponential, huge growth because the winds, 50 mile an hour out of the east, were just pushing it and growing it very, very large, very quickly. Sure. So our biggest areas of concern right now are the city of Ventura with structure protection, and also as the wind picks up, still the cities of Santa Paula and Upper Ojai, the community of Upper Ojai.
All of those areas that are mandatory or voluntary evacuation?
All of those areas have at least some form of both types of evacuations. Any other questions?
I can go on today. I can. A lot of the residents seem to think, and I want you to go back and ask the question about the aerial assault, feel as if once the planes start flying, you got a better chance of stopping these or at least slowing it down. Is that too optimistic of that?
It really is dependent on the winds. You're right. We're going to use the aerial assault basically on the flanks of the fire where we can actually stop it as it starts coming into the cities. But generally, the aerial assault's not very effective at the very head of the fire because the fire can spot so far in advance of the fire, a quarter mile, a half a mile in advance of where the fire front is. So a retardant line doesn't provide much to stop embers that are traveling much, much further than the width of the retardant line.
As far as the areas that have been evacuated and protected those structures, what have you been able to do just to assure residents that when they come home, their homes are going to be there, basically preventing people from going in and robbing the places they're doing?
Sure. So, and it's normal for people, especially, as we said, 27,000 people were evacuated. Almost none of them know the status of their homes. So our goal today is to get as much information out to the public as possible to repopulate the areas as soon as it's safe. That means we don't have firefighting personnel in there, that the power lines have been addressed, and electric and power and gas issues have all been addressed. So that's our goal, is to repopulate those areas in as orderly a fashion as possible.
Are we talking days maybe before anybody is allowed to go home because of the tremendous size of this fire?
It certainly could be that in some areas. We'll go through and evaluate all of the different areas for the risks and repopulate as we deem safe.
We've added additional resources to patrol the burn areas that are evacuated for security reasons. So we'll have extra deputies out there for that, specifically for that purpose, for that concern. I'm sorry? No, we have not.
So I heard a question about the oil facilities. Right, as it moves towards the west, we do have a number of oil facilities in there. Fortunately, those all have great roads that are very accessible, so the firefighters will be up there, probably in our smaller Type 3 engines throughout the day.
What should residents expect? Please speak to them and tell them what they should expect, what areas should be prepared to go, and just take them through the day.
Yeah, so obviously our job is to communicate and give as much information to the residents that are affected and those that may be affected. There's still a high possibility that we will be evacuating additional areas, and so we will be providing information to the residents throughout the day. There's also a plethora of information that's available online also that the residents can go to.
Some of that because of the lack of power and the Wi-Fi, one woman I spoke to got a text from someone who can't believe it told her basically the backyard is on fire, so she can't rely on these.
Well, yes, obviously, those are challenges we always have during fires. Is a lot of the infrastructure is destroyed, cell sites go down, so it's a challenge with the communications, but as much as we can, we'll be communicating via the media, through online, through text, and hopefully in person too.
Chief, you're saying 150 structures as of now, and you're saying that's pretty much going to hold. But have you been able to go in there and do a real walkthrough damage assessment of what you've got?
We have not been able to. Most of the areas are not safe for us to go in and start doing our damage assessment as of right now. So we would imagine those numbers will change throughout the day and probably over the course of the next few days.
Are there some specific neighborhoods in the city of Ventura that you're particularly concerned about? Aerial pictures of people on the ground showing homes, $1 million plus, going up all throughout the
Sure. Right. So not specific neighborhoods, but obviously anywhere that was up around the WUI, the wildland urban interface. We obviously have concerns with that as the fire impacted. The fire impacted all the neighborhoods without consideration of any geographical boundaries.
You mentioned the urban interface on that. A lot of those homes when I was up there looked like they had 75 feet of clearance. It didn't make a damn bit of difference. The fire blew right through and killed those homes.
You're right. And what we do is we have a very aggressive defensible space program here in the county. That doesn't always ensure that we're always going to be able to protect every home. What you have, and especially in these high wind-driven fires, is this tremendous ember environment. And you get these embers that work their way into the smallest little places through attic vents, and a lot of times that's where the fires start.
Can you talk about losing resources possibly for the other fire now?
We certainly don't anticipate losing any of our ground resources here. We will be competing for the same air resources, so that's certainly a possibility.
What's a better your air power, your air attack on this? What's better to go with helicopters or fixed wings on this type of fire, given the terrain, given the homes you're trying to protect?
Well, my simple answer is both, and it really depends. We're going to be using the fixed wing aircraft really to secure a lot of our fire lines along the perimeter, and then we'll be working with our rotor wing or our helicopters in close to all the structures to work those hot spots out.
Do you know what caused the fire?
We don't have a cause for the fire.
Are those planes out now?
They're not out now. I think they should be up within an hour.
And I heard that you trouble giving us maps where people were being evacuated, like when the sites was down. So one place to get the map of evacuation roads.
ReadyVenturaCounty.org is the